Welcome to another movie plot and enjoy the memories. It begins with some 30-year-old students arriving late for the ferry to a nearby island Rave. They discover their boat's already left, so Simon asks around for another captain, but upon hearing the island name, the first mate Salish refuses to make the trip. Known as the Island of Death, the boat's captain Kirk also refuses and takes offense to Greg making a Star Trek joke about his name. Thankfully money talks, and when the rich boy offers him $1,000 to take them, whatever fears the captain had about evil spirits goes out the window. They all board the boat when the Coast Guard arrives to arrest the smugglers, so Simon pays him a little extra to avoid capture, as this party seems super important. Meanwhile, on Isla del Morte, the partygoers gather round the stage and the main group call their friends Joanna and her boyfriend Matt to inform them that they're coming. The couple leave the crowd to go skinny dipping together, but the water's too cold for Matt, so he lets his girlfriend go swimming alone. He plonks himself down on the uncomfortable looking shore but manages to somehow fall asleep and doesn't hear Jo calling for him when strange bubbles begin to rise from beneath her. She returns to the shore but finds Matt's now missing, so she goes searching the surrounding forest while being stalked by a stitched together resident. Coming upon an old cemetery surrounding an old derelict house, she wisely decides to enter to search for her boyfriend. She finds him standing frozen still when dozens of zombie-like creatures emerge, punching a hole straight through Matt and killing Jo with a quick zoom in. On the boat ride over, Greg gets sick while his girlfriend Cynthia has to put up with him, including cleaning herself off when he barfs. She assumes that Salish wants a glimpse of her A-cups, but he's just handing out a crucifix saying that it will protect them from evil spirits. The movie transitions with scenes of the game it's based upon, while we're shown even more 30-year-old teenagers being taken out by the creatures. By the time the group arrive, they find the party completely deserted, but Alicia's the only one who thinks that maybe the bloody clothes means that something bad happened. Everyone else completely ignores the warning signs and begins drinking, while the captain and his first mate have also decided to spend time on the island. Kirk wants to hide his illicit cargo here to make sure that the Coast Guard doesn't find him with it when they return to port. He says that they'll come back in a few weeks to collect the crates again, but while Salish is hiding the last one, he gets attacked by the creatures. Alicia decides to go searching for anyone else, so Karma joins, not because she wonders where the people are but because she's over Greg and Cynthia's canoodling. Simon joins them because he has a crush on Alicia, but he blows it when he thinks it's a good idea to ask them both for a three-way. They ignore him and locate the dilapidated house, so they decide to check it out but get attacked out of fear by 3 partygoers. Hiding after surviving a massacre at the party, Hugh shows them a video of it while saying that Romero films exist in this universe, but somehow he's the only one who's heard of a zombie. Alicia's ex-boyfriend Rudy's also there, while a dancer Liberty advises them to find a boat and get the hell off the island. They return to the party where Greg's putting the moves on Cynthia but takes her somewhere more comfortable for doing the funny business. Naturally he needs to take a leak first, but while he's doing that the freaks come out and Cynthia's swarmed and killed by the zombie creatures. The main group reach the site and find Greg still alive and raving about a zombie attack, having hidden himself inside an overturned toilet. Now zombified Cynthia charges out and breaks Hugh's neck before being blown away by the arrival of the Coast Guard Casper. She demands to know where the 2 smugglers dropped them off at, so the group take her to Kirk, who's still waiting for his first mate to return. Swimming up from the depths, multiple zombies begin to climb on the boat, but the captain handles himself and shoots any that get on board. Almost at the boat, the group get held up by some pond zombies, but their Coast Guard protects them and they move on with a now injured Rudy. By the time they reach Kirk's boat, they find it already completely overrun by the creatures with no signs of the captain on board. Simon gets ahead of everyone else and dives in to begin swimming towards it, but notices it swarming with zombies and retreats back to shore. Casper fires from the dock, shooting anyone that gets too close, while Kirk returns firing from the shore with his rifle, having needed to abandon ship. Liberty walks into the water with only a knife for whatever reason and almost gets herself killed, but Kirk destroys the brain of her attacker. The shooter's then bitten by one of the zombies, but because Hugh's dead, no one's around to tell Rudy that his whiskey won't help. A corpse suddenly spits acid in the nearby Simon's face, causing his cheek to melt off, so Casper puts a bullet in its head and gives Greg the gun. She takes him and ditches the group to go find a boat, but they don't make it far when the undead come streaming out of the trees. Casper holds them off while allowing Greg to run away, but he gets lost in the woods and surrounded by a horde that rip him apart. As the gang try to formulate another plan, Alicia demands to know from Kirk everything he knows about the island's origins. The tale tells of a Spanish priest from the 15th century named Castillo who was banished by the Catholic Church for conducting evil experiments. He escaped his restraints and killed the entire crew before it's said he took refuge on the island to continue killing anyone who crossed him. As we return from the story, we're shown that he's the patched-together stalker and still roams the island over 500 years later. The survivors decide to return to the haunted house where it's at least defendable, so they stop by Kirk's illicit cargo before making the trip. Casper returns and tells them that Greg's dead before Kirk reveals the compartment of hidden weapons inside his crate and provides the group with guns. When they make it to the house, it's surrounded by dozens of the dead, so they have a literal 9-minute shootout while trying to reach the front doors. 4 of those minutes are in slow motion while the never-ending stream of creatures just keep getting blown away. They finally get to the front door, but Liberty, who's fighting the dead off with spinning kicks and her empty pistol, is swarmed and eaten alive. The rest of the group wait at the locked doors while Rudy and Casper break in through a window, but the latter has her lower half hacked off and bleeds out inside the house. Rudy opens the front door, but Cap's also bitten multiple times as they all get inside and kill the remaining dead man attacking them. They lay Kirk out on the dining table with a life-threatening leg injury while witnessing the zombies dragging their dead into a shed in the backyard. The exes get back together with a prioritized makeout while Karma kisses the elephant man, who's less worried about dying and more about his deformed face. Soon Alicia finds a captain's logbook proving that Castillo really reached the island and that the zombies are his creation, result of the experiments. Low on bullets, they leave Kirk with a single round to defend himself and go searching for another way out when discovering the priest's laboratory. The captain hears Salish whistling outside and finds he's one of the creatures, but they aren't as easily taken out as a single bullet to the head. Not wanting to let him suffer, he tells Rudy that he's already going to die anyway, so he takes out himself, Salish, and a dozen zombies with a stick of TNT. It destroys the front door, so the group retreat into the lab and lock themselves inside with the dormant corpses and barrels of gunpowder. In a tank they find a zombified fish, but Karma shoots the glass, causing the water to wake the dormant dead, who force them deeper into the building. Simon's captured by the creatures, so Alicia, Rudy and Karma flee while Simon sacrifices himself by shooting a barrel of gunpowder and blowing up the entire home. The survivors make it underground and walk through a tunnel shooting dead like they're on a rail, but moss-covered creatures emerge from the walls. For some reason Karma's got overly brave and thinks that she can handle them all by herself, only to get eaten alive. Suddenly a cloaked stranger with a sword saves Rudy and Alicia and ushers the two through the tunnels into a more recently used lab. He's wearing Greg's face for a disguise, and when Rudy notices it's a trap, the two are captured by Castillo and his undead creations. Planning to use their body parts for his experiments, the priest explains that he discovered how to reanimate dead flesh and created a serum. When injected into a live specimen, it makes people immortal, which is why the church banished Castillo, because they weren't able to kill him. He now has his eyes set on turning some of Alicia's parts into his next squeeze, but Rudy manages to fight free from his captors, distracting Castillo. Alicia picks up a nearby sword and runs it straight through the priest's torso before escaping with Rudy out of the shed in the backyard. He tosses a grenade back into the lab and the two survive a slow-motion explosion, which is another 12 seconds of this running towards camera. Having also survived the explosion, Castillo returns and attacks them from behind, only to have a sword fight with Alicia while Rudy swings around an axe. After some artistic choices with the cameras, Rudy gets knocked out, but somehow the college student's capable enough to almost defeat the 15th century swordsman. She doesn't though, and he stabs Alicia straight in the heart when Rudy wakes up and with a single swing chops off Castillo's head. That doesn't stop the headless body from almost strangling Rudy to death until Alicia saves him when she crushes the brain under her boot. Sometime later, a team of federal agents arrive to find Rudy carrying Alicia out of the underground, having just given her the serum to make her immortal. He reveals that his last name's Curien, in reference to the video game, as the pair go home and wonder if the nightmare has really ended. And the movie ends.